What I'm trying to attempt to do with this bill is to start a discussion on how we can deal with putting alternative fuel vehicles on parity with traditional fuel. Right now in the state for vehicles such as CNG or compressed natural gas, the users of those vehicles have to provide decals that they have to show to be able to purchase the station. With those types of vehicles and other types of alternative fuels becoming more and more prevalent, I think it makes sense to move to a system where where people who use those types of fuels would have more access at different types of places to purchase that. And I think the way to do that is to try to equalize the taxation of those types of fuels to be on par with traditional fuels.
Issues that we're faced with, not just in Missouri, but across the country, is the decal fee system is kind of a barrier to interstate commerce. If you were in the state of Illinois and you were trying to get to Oklahoma and you pulled in to get fuel and you didn't have a decal fee, depending on the situation, the time of day, or where you were, it would be almost impossible to get fuel, and you would then be in violation of the current state code. So, that's one issue there. And also in the phase-in approach that we've put together on this, where we implement a 5-cent fee for 5 years, our tax on the fuel, and then move to 10 and then to 15. This provides the opportunity also for several entities in the state, including some waste haulers, who invested millions of dollars in the trucks and the equipment and infrastructure to put in fueling stations based upon a certain economic model. And then the intent here was not to throw that upside down with a fee that was way above what they were kind of working with today. But at the end of a 10-year period, you get to a spot where it's all somewhat equalized, depending on how you look at other taxes that CNG are subjected to. I mean, I can tell you, from the CNG perspective, the technology and the supply of this, kind of clean, abundantly produced fuel in the last few years has exploded. It's caused, the price to be, reduced. I think we're seeing prices in average in the state of about $1.89 a gallon on a gasoline gallon equivalent, which is how it's measured. So there's a lot of changes that have happened over the last few years that have moved this dynamic. And to answer the representative's question, I don't think we had anything in any legislation here or on the other side of the building on this particular issue. In perspective of size, I'm sure there might be somebody here that can answer this question better, but I think we're talking about an issue now in terms of total state dollars from the CNG tax and decal fee of under 100,000. I don't exactly know what that number is in terms of real information. We've tried to capture that, but there's other vehicles involved in some of those calculations, and maybe somebody can break that out. So from a scaled perspective, this industry is very much in its infancy. There's quite a bit of opportunity for a number of reasons, but it's very much in its infancy. Just trying to think, to give you a little perspective across the country, I think 13 states in the last 18 months have suspended or abolished their fee. Alabama recently voted in the House of Representatives 101-0 to suspend this fee until they can come up with a better system. So again, this is something that the country is recognizing, that when they put the decal fee system in many states across the country, it probably worked. But now that the conditions and the environment have changed, so we need to look at something that's a little bit more conducive.